one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So be it. Chancellor, has a notice of this meeting been posted?
I certify, Chair, that it has been posted in accordance with the law.
Any public comment?
Sir, we have one citizen registered for public comment, Dr. Shashanka Sheely.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
The leaders who invited me to their office were refused to shake my hand, who wouldn't even acknowledge my presence, and who asked me to show myself out. To those leaders who broke the decorum in an attempt to tip the balance, 115,595 votes is your answer. That's the number of votes I received. Just 3 months ago, when I stood before this board, introduced myself, I was nobody. Today, I have this many votes. People are hungry for change. Isn't this a classic David versus Goliath story? To those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Shashanka Ashili, and I am running against Chair Stoma in District 1. I'm not much of a book reader, but recently I picked up a book, Real World of Texas Politics. I advise you to read. The authors are Robert Locander, a retired political science professor, Richard Shaw, union leader, Kevin Bailey, a former congressman. Allow me to quote few sentences on page 9 and 10. I quote, elites try to dominate all aspects of political process, from selecting the candidates to finance campaigns, ... unquote. And on page 11, preventing or rechanneling change into an acceptable form is what Texas elites do in an invisible way, unquote. The keywords here, change, campaign finance reports. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it is a duck, isn't it? The irony of the situation is leaders didn't even realize they became the elites, and now they're running the show, preventing change, protecting executives. Heck, they spend more money on trying to defeat me than they spent on a statewide election, say, railroad commissioner. Looks like I'm a really bad, dangerous guy, right? Looks like it is. On August 3rd, 2023, one of the executives was in front of this board asking to ratify 1.4 million that was spent by the department over their budget, which is over 40%, Chair Stoma. You led this board in characterizing this wasteful spending as a business process issue, I quote, and held no one accountable. For simple people like me, this fancy word means no accountability. Nobody's getting fired. It's party time, guys. Empathy and accountability are not two sides of the same coin. They are different kinds. This rubber stamping and checkbox culture by your leadership is why we are here today. The college spent $2,256,840.13 on this election to Harris County alone. This doesn't include Montgomery County, countless hours by LSC staff. And yet the outcome is unknown as of now, because nobody caught the mistake, single district voters at large. Here is the kicker. None of the executives with fancy titles checked. When I say none, absolute zero. It was left to a single working class employee and with zero expertise in government relationships. And that employee looks like had been relieved of duties. Again, the executives are okay. Elites are happy. 4 million less to the taxpayers, that's okay too. Whether you are an Occupy Wall Street liberal or a Tea Party conservative or a centrist, we all can agree accountability, innovation, and collaboration are keys to American exceptionalism. That is what is missing at LSU. And that is exactly why I'm running. Trustee Morillo looks like who is not here today. I want to thank him for his comments on AI in the last meeting. I share his excitement and appreciation the impacts of artificial intelligence. Though we are late to the party, it's never too late. Instead of wasting that 4.4 million, more than 4 million of taxpayer money, I would have advocated inaugurating an interdisciplinary department of artificial intelligence, which could have transformed everything from HVACs to all the way math and healthcare. It would have made Professor John Burdoff, very happy. After all, AI is a math, and we could have had 10 faculty members for a long time. More importantly, it would have given students a significant edge in the job market. To the taxpayers, like you, I believe in not wasting money. Like you, I believe in American exceptionalism. And as a parent, I constantly worry about the future of my kids, just like you do. Think about this when you vote, an elite or a scientist who shares your values. And before ending this, I have a suggestion for the administration. You should consider starting a tradition of conducting an open Q&A or a debate session between the candidates. Legally, you can do that. I'm sure having a chancellor with JD is an advantage, isn't it? Thank you.
Thank you. We have two items on our agenda for consideration tonight. Item one is canvassing of the November 5th, 2024 trustees election results. Item two is the consideration of approval of order calling the trustee runoff, election runoff. Chancellor, you have some comments to make?
I do, Chair. Thank you. So the first thing is the first action item is canvassing of the November 5th, 2024 trustee election results. And I'm just going to read, I have a few things to read, and I'm going to read them because of the scrutiny with which this will be reviewed. So I want to make sure I say everything as correctly as possible. So under board policy, IH2 1.16, canvass returns. The board shall canvass election returns at the time set by the presiding officer, not earlier than the 8th day or later than the 11th day after election day. And two trustees constitute a quorum for purposes of canvassing an election. So moving on to the vote totals by precinct of District 1, I am presenting the District 1 precinct results for the canvassing authority. The precinct tabulation for the whole precincts that you see on this slide is directly from the Harris County official results, which the system received on Friday, November 15th at 2:43 p.m. You will note, however, that split precincts are denoted as 0 because Harris County has been unable to provide the system with official segregated results for these precincts. This is the reason that the totals will differ from the publicly available data that Harris County shows. Off to the side on this slide, the system is showing that the whole precinct totals, with candidate Stoma receiving 44.81% of the vote, candidate Ashili receiving 34.77% of the vote, and candidate Santillan receiving 20.42% of the vote. Board policy, section 1H217 states a candidate receiving a majority of the votes cast for a trustee position shall be declared elected. If no candidate receives a majority, then the two candidates receiving the highest number of votes shall run against each other for the position in a runoff election. So vote totals by precinct for District 2. I am presenting the District 2 precinct results for the canvassing authority. The precinct tabulation for the whole precincts that you see on this slide is directly from the Harris County official results, which the system received again on Friday, November 15th, 2024 at 2:43 p.m. You will note, however, that split precincts are denoted as 0 because Harris County has been unable to provide the system with official segregated results for these precincts. This is the reason the totals will differ from the publicly available data Harris County shows. This is a continuation of the precinct tabulation. The pink, and this is the vote totals by precinct for District 2. So the pink shaded precincts are the tabulation from the Montgomery County precincts. We received the official Montgomery County results on Monday, November 18th, 2024 at 12:49 p.m. Off to the side, the system is showing the whole precinct totals with candidate Mesa receiving 51.04% of the vote and candidate Pierce receiving 48.96% of the vote. Moving on to District 8. District 8 was unopposed. On September 5th, 2024, the Board of Trustees declared candidate Mike Sullivan elected. That concludes my presentation for the canvassing of the votes. Chair Stone.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Chair Stoneman.
Yeah.
May I
Yes.
address Chancellor?
Go ahead.
Were there two slides for the position two? It looked like a slide overlapped or something. Can you go back?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the clicker. It's not as responsive as I would have liked.
I saw that one. Was there one before?
Yes, sir, there was. There's a continuation slide.
Okay, I have that. Okay, it must have just been when I looked at it, it looked like.
Yes, sir. It's these two right here. So it's slide 10 and slide 11.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair Stoma,
Go ahead,
Is it,
Trustee Pierce.
okay, I guess I want to ask this to maybe the legal counsel. Okay, we are getting ready to canvass votes. We know that's by law. We have to do this. Okay. We are still in federal court. Explain to me, just give me a roundabout of where we are, even though we canvass the votes as we see it with, Mr. Mesa having 5104, me having 48.96, but Judge Hart has not given a ruling. So how does that work? I just want to make sure that everybody understands. How does this work?
Chair, may I be recognized, Chair?
Yes, please.
Trustee Pierce, so no, we have not heard anything from Judge Hoyt, and so we are legally required to.
Yeah, I know
canvass the
about that,
elections.
but where are we after that? Can the judge, if he makes his ruling, what happens? If he doesn't rule it, I'm just saying, what if he rules and says this election was fraudulent or whatever, it had errors, what happens?
Sure, so I think if we want to go ahead and discuss that piece of it, that my advice would be that we go into closed session.
Okay,
Any legal advice? We should.
okay,
Session.
okay.
Okay, then we will go into closed session. Let's consider our business here first. Is that all, Trustee
Good.
Pierce?
Just want a clarification.
Okay, any other comments before we go? All right, I need a motion and a second to consider item 1 and vote. Can I have a motion? All those in favor of passing item 1, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain. I just
One
want
abstention.
Yeah.
Trustee Pierce abstains. All right, so that item passes because we only needed 2, right? Second item, I need a motion and a second to consider discussion and vote on item 2. Can I get a motion? Motion. A second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Then the item passes. Chancellor, I'm not sure what you want to do with this.
Yes, sir. So the next step is we have to issue the certificates of election. And so I want to read what we're doing here. Mike, please come forward. So under Board Policy 1H218, the certificate of election, after a canvass ends, the presiding officer shall prepare a certificate of election for each candidate who is elected to an office for which the official result is determined by the authority's canvass. We have to prepare them right now, sir.
Should I read this or you just giving me to sign? Okay. Think I'm buying a house.
All right. And And that concludes my presentation. I do want to make the board aware of two things. One, after this meeting, I will be calling trustee-elect Mesa to ask about how he would like to be sworn in and the process for that. And I also think that there's precedent for the chancellor agreeing after citizen comment or the citizen request information from the chancellor that the chancellor meet with the citizen. So I will be extending an invitation to Dr. Ashili to meet with him as well, in line with longstanding precedent of this institution. And I wanted to make the board aware of both of those items for transparency. Thank you, Chair Stema.
All righty. So the board will now go into closed session in accordance with section 551.001 of the Texas Government Code. We'll move into closed section under the following sections: 551.017, 551.072, 074, and 076. I now adjourn this. Convene our regular meeting, our special meeting, really. There's no other business for this board. Any comments, questions, anything before we adjourn? All right, and at 6:30, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you.